One of my favorite movies growing up was the original Mighty Ducks. Now, I don't know if that's because I'm Canadian and it's required by law to like anything hockey related, or if I just like the idea of being a kid and hopping in a stranger's limousine. But when I heard Disney Plus was releasing a 10-episode series, I was skeptical. After all, the franchise spawned 3 mega-hit movies and even a 1-season animated series. But when I started watching Mighty Ducks Game Changers, I was pleasantly surprised. This show is actually pretty good. So my inner nostalgia got the best of me, and I decided to go back and rewatch the original Mighty Ducks and see just how different or similar these two versions are. And let me tell you, the show does a great way of staying true to the original while also inventing new and fun ways to update the franchise. But before we begin, make sure to slapshot that like and subscribe button. Seriously, only 8% of you are subscribed, so that I can continue watching movies of my childhood while holding on to my last remaining serotonin. One of the biggest game-changing events of the show, and yes, the puns will get worse, is that we don't follow the Mighty Ducks at all. In fact, this series takes place almost 30 years after the events of the original, and things have changed for the worse. In those 30 years, the Ducks have transformed from a ragtag group of kids playing for the love of the game to a machine-like squadron built with the sole purpose of winning. The kids on the team have personal trainers, follow strict diets, and are punished for losing. In essence, the Ducks in 2021 are like how the Hawks were in 1992. It's a great role reversal that sets up much of the conflict this season. The Hawks even have an overbearing coach named Mr. T.
Pity the fool.
No, not that Mr. T. He fills the role of the must-win at all costs coach. Both the movie and series are set in Minnesota, following the 12 to 14-year-old District 5 hockey team's quest for the championship. In the original, Coach Bombay is forced to coach a team as part of community service for getting a DUI. Yeah, that's something I totally missed when I was 10 years old. And what better idea is there than getting a guy who got a DUI to coach your children? Coach Bombay does play a major role in Game Changers, but we'll get to him in a bit. Just like the original Ducks were a group of ragtag kids, so too are the Don't Bothers. And yes, that's the name of the main team we follow, named after a line our main character's mother says in a viral video of her chastising the Ducks for focusing only on winning. For her, the Ducks have sucked the fun out of the game, so she, along with her son Evan, who has kicked off the Ducks, decide to start their own club. In fact, the first episode is a lot like the first act of the Mighty Ducks, where they have to go around recruiting members for the team. The show could have gone the easy route and recycled a lot of the tropes from the original, like recruiting the guy who's good at slap shots, or the figure skater who can do some cool moves. But they don't, opting to try new things like the Canadian student who ironically doesn't know how to skate, or the female cosplayer who takes out her fury on the ice. And even the characters who do resemble their originals are given more fleshed out backgrounds, like Kubler here, the goalie who resembles Goldberg, who has parents who never see his games, thus he escapes reality by burying his head in his phone all day. When you have 10 episodes, you can really learn and care more about these characters so that when the games do happen, the stakes are much higher. So Alex Morrow, the mom from Parenthood and Gilmore Girls, becomes the coach of this new team, but has to find a home rink. Enter the Ice Palace, which was given to Coach Bombay by Hans in his will. You might remember Hans from the original as that old skate shop owner. And things have definitely changed for Coach Bombay. 30 years later, and he absolutely hates hockey.
Here's the long and the short of it. I hate hockey, and I don't like kids.
He even has a sign that reads, "No hockey." How Bombay went from beloved coach to cantankerous old man is one of the season's big mysteries. We'll later find out that his pro hockey career, which we see him leave for at the end of Mighty Ducks, was cut short when he got an injury. He then went to coach collegiate hockey, but was fired after breaking the recruitment rules by giving a poor kid money to afford a stick. Not quite sure how that works, but c'est la vie.
I spent my entire life chasing hockey, and I have absolutely nothing to show for it.
So part of Bombay's arc this season is much like his original arc in Mighty Ducks. A dude who doesn't want to coach learns to rekindle his love for the game and become loved by all in the process. With it being decades since the original, Game Changers incorporates more tech. Almost all the kids have cell phones, and they're even used as one of Bombay's unique practice exercises. In the original, the kids use eggs to practice their passing, but in the show, it's their phones. That's real ballsy. For a kids movie, Mighty Ducks has no scenes that take place at school, but Game Changers Changers changes that. All the kids go to the same District 5 school where their mascot is the Frost. Like the movie, Game Changers keeps the original District 5 teams. In Hans's shop, you can see a board in the back that highlights them. This time we get full-on introductions set with pyrotechnics and lighting, and I'm like, this is sure hella different than when I was playing hockey. It's here at the end of episode 1 that the Don't Bothers announce themselves as an official team. And just like the Ducks, the Don't Bothers have literally no money and their equipment is random stuff they've been able to scrounge. Whereas the original Ducks get their equipment donated to them by a generous grant from Mr. Ducksworth, the lawyer boss of Bombay who the Ducks are named after, the Don't Bothers break into the Lost and Found at the Ducks Arena. Fun fact, Alex works at the same law firm that Coach Bombay did. With 10 episodes, there's also a lot more room to delve into the family lives of our players. With the exception of Charlie's mom in the 1992 version, there are almost no other parents seen in the original. In Game Changers, not only do we get a wide array of parents, but also different family situations. Nick, for example, has 2 gay parents, Logan's parents are going through a divorce, and Sophie's are completely overbearing. I highly doubt that some of the issues the show tackles would ever have been addressed back in '92. So with the team having their own rink and equipment, their first match is against the Cardinals. In the original, the Ducks' first match is against the Hawks. They end up losing 12-0 instead of 17-0 like the Ducks did back in '92. The Don't Bother's second game is against the Ducks, and here they actually lose 17-1, their only goal being a new play that Coach Bombay secretly wrote in Alex's playbook. In the original, Coach Bombay created the Flying V, which they used to ultimately win against the Hawks. This season introduces us to new and even more creative plays, such as the breakaway, which involves shooting a player into a group of others like a bowling pin, and the double helix, where players loop around each other like a strand of DNA. Like the original, Game Changers' main kid has divorced parents with a dad who is barely around. This allows for Bombay to swoop in and become this father-like figure for him. Unlike the original, Bombay doesn't end up kissing the mom, however there is some unresolved romantic tension between the two which will undoubtedly be explored in season 2. Now, one of my favorite episodes this season is where they bring back actual members from the original trilogy to inspire the new team. Bombay's car window is smashed by Fulton, just like it was in the original. The old Ducks are back in town to attend the Ducks Gala, a gala Bombay isn't invited to. These members include Averman, Fulton, Connie, Guy, and Adam Banks from the original, and Ken Wu from D2 and D3. Now you might be asking yourself, where's Charlie, the main character from all 3 Mighty Ducks films, played by Joshua Jackson? Well, because of COVID and Jackson having a baby, it made it impractical to have him appear. Writer Stephen Brill said that when they do bring him back, they want it to be substantial. There's a lot of story to mine between his relationship with Bombay. His absence in the show is explained to Bombay that Charlie didn't want to see a coach that abandoned them. Initially, Brill wanted all the old characters to have recurring roles in the series, like having Averman be a teacher at the school, but COVID just made it too difficult. This is something that could be explored in future seasons. Speaking of Averman, he's now a limo driver with a great callback to the original as he drives the gang onto the ice. The old Ducks have a practice session with the new Ducks, really linking the two shows together. Ironically enough, the Don't Bothers get their first win against the team that was the strongest in the original, the Hawks. This, alongside their meeting with the old Ducks, give them the boost they need to continue their winning streak and make it to the state finals. Bombay fakes a power outage, forcing the kids to play classic pond hockey, just like where he met the original Ducks. And although the kids have a love for the game, Game Changers adds romance between some of the players, not seen in the original. Evan has a crush on Sophie, and Nick on geeky sports announcer Mary Jo. Unlike the Mighty Ducks, Game Changers builds up to the state championships, whereas the original was just for the district. This build-up is all for naught when the Don't Bothers have to forfeit because one of their players suffers an injury and they need at least 10 players to play. And with the Ducks winning out of a technicality, the Don't Bothers offer them a high-stakes game on their own ice. If they win, they get to take back the name Mighty Ducks. If they lose, they have to disband the team forever. And Coach T is willing to play dirty to win.
It's not dirty. It's hockey.
Just like Coach Riley was in the Mighty Ducks.
I want you to drop Banks like a bad habit. I want it out of the game.
The Don't Bothers end up playing with the original Ducks jerseys and win, using the famous Flying V play to score the game-winning goal. The Mighty Ducks name is officially in the hands of those who stand for the spirit of the Ducks, putting fun, camaraderie, and teamwork ahead of winning at all costs. Now, Coach Bombay doesn't get a kiss at the end of this one, but that's probably coming in Season 2. Speaking of which, there is no word yet if the show has been renewed, but with the final shot being the Ice Palace donning the Mighty Ducks name, I sure hope Disney gives the second second season a shot. Yep, that was another pun. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please make sure to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out, and let me know what you thought about Mighty Ducks Game Changers. For more bad takes, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ThinkStoryYT. Until next time, remember, Daddy loves you very much.